Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2019 Silver Cup presented by Discmania and Rollin Ridge. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy. Now joining me is Madison Walker. Madison, you say you love coming to Wisconsin. This is the main reason, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is the only reason I love coming to Wisconsin. Just kidding. Wisconsin's awesome.
Well, we've got a great card for you here today. We're going to check out the action taking place during the opening round. They just get one shot at Rollin Ridge, and they're
really
playing
all
the
you
Blacks.
Want. Yeah, it's really all you want at Rollin Ridge. I feel like most players walk off the course and they're like, that's one time, I'm done.
We'll see you next year. All right, well, we start out on hole 1, 512 feet. It's a par 4, and just kind of bends right to left the entire length of the fairway.
Yeah, it's a tricky shot. You want to throw a hyzer, a pretty sharp hyzer off the tee with a gator or a firebird or that type of disc. And once you land it, getting to this basket is almost impossible. There's not really a line. You can throw kind of a hope and a prayer hyzer, but if you're tucked too far left, there's no way to get there. So I think a lot of players are going to be looking at 4s unless they're hitting some really big putts.
Well, and Wisconsin's own Adam Hammis, sponsored by Discraft, and it looks like he's trying to take that tight inside line, and that should work.
Yep, he's in the landing zone where you have a look at a possible hyzer through a bunch of trees.
And one of the most famed Wisconsinites of all time in disc golf history, world champion Barry Schultz.
He's apparently on his honeymoon tour. It's the first time playing in Wisconsin in 16 years?
No, probably about 6 or 7 years.
8.
And here's Florida's own Double G, Garrett Gurthie. So smooth and pretty good position.
Yeah, right up the middle. Like I said, this second shot is really hard. There's not really a great place to be off the tee. You're kind of just going to be putting your scramble pants on as soon as you step up to your second shot. Usually the basket is off to the right when you're looking at your second shot, but they moved the basket back into the more difficult location. We watched Calvin saw one off early, but kicks out into the fairway.
Very favorable kick. Cale said, nice line. I think giving him a little bit of a hard time here on the opening shot.
Oh, Lord. Then he comes out swinging and missing.
Is it fair to say this isn't like Florida golf?
Actually, we play a lot of wood golf, but I guess where Calvin's from in Florida, it's a lot more open and windy situations. Hence the Las Vegas title.
Solid approach there by
Yeah,
Cale.
great. He's going to have a 3 look. That's really tough on this hole. There is an OB creek just before you get to the green. You can see Adam's going over it right now. No problem, the bridge goes over the top of it, but it makes for a really scary approach.
Adam skips by the basket, but then goes just long, and now Double G must not have the hyzer angle, so he's going to get tricky with the forehand roller.
I don't see Double G throwing a lot of forehands, but look at him go.
That is a great up and down there by Double G.
Calvin's thrilled with his shots as well.
And I grew up playing with Barry Schultz. He's, again, one of the, arguably one of the best players of all time with multiple world titles, multiple USDGC titles. And really, even to this day, as Calvin draws medal, I've got to say, Barry Schultz is just the absolute pinnacle of smooth when you watch him throw.
Definitely. It's going to be fun to watch him play this course today. Cale chaining out left to, I believe that was for his 3.
Hammis has a comebacker, and that's a little bit short.
This is my first time commentating on a round where there's 5 players on the card. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and truth be told, Madison nor myself have actually seen any of this footage. This was edited by Gary and shot by both Gary and Jeff.
Thank you guys for filming.
Yeah, very much so. And this is the first time we're seeing it as we're watching the action ourselves. And Cale's practically, we can't quite claim him in Wisconsin, but he comes over quite a bit. He has shredded this course in the past.
He's very popular at the Silver Cup.
Yeah. Even with that mustache.
I know. Why doesn't anyone like that?
558 feet. This is a par 3, but that's going to be pushing it for anybody.
Oh, yeah, that's a stretch. It's definitely a crush off the tee. There's not any out of bounds you have to contend with on the left-hand side, but the right-hand side is a marsh, and you do not want to go in there. You will not get your disc back. I believe the wind was from their tee pad left to right, kind of tailwind. We see Barry really working with that wind, relying on something overstable to come back, and he's way down there.
Not a bad shot. He'll have to pick up his sunglasses.
Hopefully those are not cracked.
Another pan back over to the basket now. Double G could possibly feast on this. If there's any player out here, Double G would be one of the few that could actually get all the way there.
Yeah, he puts it inside the circle.
Wow.
Wow.
Adam actually hails from the Manitowoc Woodruff area, which is about 4, maybe 4.5 hours north of where they're playing here right now.
He's also the defending champion of Silver Cup.
We saw Adam make a move this off-season, as many of you know, move from Innova Champion Disc over to Discraft. You see by the flag on the basket, there's not too much action, relatively calm.
That is not how it was when we played this hole. Cale doesn't... Oh, well, I was going to say doesn't quite get enough on it, but it looks like it carries straight. Doesn't get into the middle of the fairway, but he'll have an easy up and down from there. There's no out of bounds to worry about.
Yeah, when you're talking about the power for all 4 of these, or 5 of these players that they have, if they just put a big drive out there, they're probably going to have a routine up and down.
Looks like it slips out early, way early. Calvin plays extra safe.
Staying far away from that marsh.
He might be a little gun shy after losing all of his discs at Ledgestone. Any water, a little scary.
And what's great about this basket in particular is it's sloped on that hill, and so you can kind of be a little bit aggressive, you know, as you're playing up to it. It kind of slides. It's not quite a backstop, but you can be a little bit aggressive with it.
Adam with the jumper. Great line, not quite enough juice on it.
And really, just for anyone to have a jumper at this hole, like that, to me,
impressive.
that is considered a really good shot.
And Barry with not the CTP because Double G's in the circle. But he has a little soft run at it as well. No prob.
Wow, that is a great birdie.
Quote unquote easy too.
See also the Innova flag blowing in the background. Innova is a supporter of the Wisconsin Tour, which I think we're now in our 26th year of the
Wow.
Wisconsin Tour existing. So
That's so impressive.
it's we got a lot of great history here in Wisconsin, and as I mentioned before, Cale comes over a lot from Minnesota to play. Signature move of Cale's to blow off the disc even if there's nothing on it. We will take note of that throughout the weekend. There might be,
Oh, why
but even if there's
I've
not.
never noticed he
Oh,
does
you will.
that.
You
now
will.
I'll be hyper aware.
1,005 feet from this long, long tee pad. Madison, what do you do?
Oh, just rip again, and rip again. We can see these guys, I think, getting to an area where they'll be able to approach the green on their third shot. This basket is not in play. We will be going all the way down here to this basket blockaded in by a circle of trees. It's a really fun approach. It's downhill once you get up there, but it takes a couple drives to get there.
Real quick fun fact as we're about to watch Double G hopefully put a move on this. And that's going to be in the air a long time.
And right in the middle.
Great shot by Double G. The plan, and I don't know if it's still a thing, they actually want to create a waterfall and have you throw from below where this deck is and have you throw through a waterfall out into the opening with an adjuster on it. I don't know if that's still in the plans, but that's why this elevated tee was actually built.
If there's one place that they would do that, it is here. This deck that they're throwing off of is the first of many awesome monuments that we see on this course made out of wood. We're going to see a lot of cool architecture out there. Adam going for the flex, puts it way out there. Will it come back? He will be out of bounds, and he went out of bounds a while ago, so he's gonna have to take it way back there.
Yeah, I thought I heard him say that's the most overstable disc in his bag, so maybe the wind was...
It was a screaming headwind. I threw the most overstable disc in my bag as well. I feel like it was almost an uncharacteristic amount of wind that I've experienced at this tournament, but apparently the locals say otherwise. They say it's windy here all the time. What are you talking about? So
You kind of hope for the wind so that the mosquitoes don't carry you off the course, actually.
That's 100% true.
Wisconsin pro tip here.
Wind is good. Calvin plays super safe, puts it way out to the left.
And really, there's no disadvantage to that whatsoever. I mean, keeping the OB completely out of play is a good move for Calvin, and then he can give it everything he's got on the second shot, and Adam's doing the same.
Super clean shot, really smooth. In the middle, no problem. He doesn't quite make it to the top of the hill yet, so he won't be able to see the green. He'll have to go up a little bit more. Cale looking to crest the hill, and nope, not quite.
Yeah, he's talking about playing that angle. He's asking for it to get left. He's thinking about where that third shot he'll be able to throw from. Seems like the wind kind of lifted Barry's shot as well, as you were just talking about that headwind coming in.
Calvin working the full flight of the disc and ends up way left near the tee pad of the next hole. Double G going for the green here. He's a little short, but he'll have a putt.
Yeah, I mean, if you could put Double G on a course and say, here's 18,005 footers, he'd be like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's see how many eagles I can get. Cale with a buttery, smooth, straight shot to the green. Gets tangled up by those little branches, but he's inside the circle. If you hyzer out or grip lock your disc at all on this green, the Schul is very thick. You do not want to be right or left. Deep is a little bit better.
And now you were just talking a moment ago about cresting the hill, and that makes it just so much easier to really have that visual. And instead, Barry's kind of just lining up a spot, and it seems to be a pretty good spot that he was aiming for. But when you're on top of the hill or the side of the hill like Calvin, it just makes this approach so much easier.
Wow. Draws metal.
Dot.
I
think they play those here. So Double G with an eagle look from about 45.
Ooh.
He may just have to settle for a birdie.
I know. Oh, darn it. Barry lining it up, looking for his birdie.
Solid. And of course, you can always talk about straddle putting versus a staggered stance, but if you're comfortable in a straddle, as Cale gets that one to drop in and blows his disc, when you're comfortable in a straddle, you're just probably never in a situation where you feel uncomfortable. And so if you straddle all the time, so to speak, it just, I think that makes you a little bit more versatile. Although you may not have the power, it makes you a little bit more versatile.
I agree. If you get your legs involved on a straddle putt, it's surprising how far you can make it go. Cale's not okay with the fact that he hit that right side, and he just wants to line it up one more time before we head into hole 4.
We're going to head back into the woods. We've got an open area, and then it gets very narrow. And this one, you could say, is it's tough. It's such a good course that people always talk about a signature hole. Well, you're at least playing to one of the signature greens here with this elevated pyramid green.
One of the monuments.
Yes, one of the many wooden structures out here.
This is a par 4 that is really tough to get to. I think these guys might try. You can see Double G going over the top. Most people will throw through that gap with wanting their disc to finish to the right where they can get around to the right side of this little group of trees. and that gives you a wide open look at the green.
And just to be clear, there's only a handful of people in the world that like that upper route. I mean, Double G, of course, being one of them. Most of your players, regardless of your power, would go up the middle here, and then just a few will go up and over. Is Calvin tempted? It looks like he might be.
I can't tell if he's lining it up. No, he did not practice that. It's such a tough shot here because you have to throw something that goes straight a long way, and then once it gets into the woods, you want it to finish right. So it is a really tough shot. If you finish too far straight, there's so many little trees you have to contend with, and it's pretty impossible to get to the green unless you throw something technical like a roller.
And that is we'll say, an early release or a little misfire. In fact, speaking to that exactly, Madison, a few years ago, while filming, on the second shot here, just like we're seeing Adam.
Wow. That is unbelievable.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's unbelievable. There's so many trees.
Great out by Adam. I know in the past I've seen the second shot where all 5 card members had to throw a forehand roller from the left side. So that tells you.
I want to say it's surprising, but it's kind of not here at Rollin Ridge.
And yeah, we can't say enough about Adam's shot. That was just great.
Wow, amazing shot from Barry as well. Amazing, tremendous, according to Cale.
Double G, who doesn't throw a lot of forehands, he'll use them when he's in a little bit of trouble.
Making it look like he does it all the time.
And the fact that he's nearly pin high, of course, to the left in this case, but here's one of those forehand rollers I talk about. I've seen so many people use this shot in this spot.
Oh, catches the last tree before it breaks free onto the green, but he will have a look. Calvin has a putt, or a putt approach.
Yeah, at least to be able to get out, though. I mean, relatively easy approach shot, and I feel like if you get a 3 here, you've thrown a couple of really good shots to make it happen.
Or you're a pro at scrambling. Cale with the low ceiling knee putt save. That is impressive.
And see just how high he's climbing up. This is not, just 5 feet up in the air. This is quite a ways up.
And those stairs are skinny, too. It's sketchy going up and down there. Excellent almost save from Adam.
Wow, that was high left there for Double G. He got that one to come in.
Pat that basket on the back.
Yeah, it looks like Barry's going to take a deep breath.
No problem. Great birdie. He's psyched.
He's just getting wild out there. Look at that. Cordially retrieves the disc on top of it. I'm not sure if this is the right question now or after hole 18, but what did Calvin think of this course? As I know you frequently travel with him.
I'm not going to use the same words he used. But we'll just say that he is not a fan. It's not his type of course.
We'll see if he gets some birdies then.
He feels like there's a lot of trees in the fairway, which is very true. It's definitely a very technical course, as you can see by this par 4 that requires you to shape a shot that doesn't exist in disc golf. But that is why it is a par 4. You kind of have to snake back and forth and eventually work your way back into this basket surrounded by trees.
See, I thought at one point as the drone was giving us this preview, it actually got confused, turned around and went back, and then back and forth again. But no, this shot just really requires a relatively gentle Anheuser off the tee. I think the number one mistake players make here is they try to bite off too much. I mean, you're not driving the green, so just play a nice smooth Anheuser like we saw from Barry and like we're seeing from Cale, and trying to position it in the center is going to be key here.
Yeah, and this tee pad, we played a different tee pad in the FBO field, so this is a shot I'm not quite familiar with, which is why that drone flight just really surprised me. Calvin looks like he turns it over a little more than he wants, and he'll be scrambling from the woods. You can hear the bugs hitting the microphone of the camera. As soon as you get in these woods, the wind goes away and you're left to deal with the flies, the mosquitoes, all the Wisconsin friends.
We'll see how much ground play, if any, Adam gets out of that. Again, you're not looking for distance. You're really just trying to make the initial bend and be as clean as possible as we're kind of trying to pan out way back over to the basket over yonder. There's a lot of trees here.
There sure is. Garrett looks like he has a generally pretty straight to hyzer finishing shot. Doesn't quite get it where he wants it. Calvin's trying to scramble to get down there and maybe give himself a putt. Lots of straddle putts out here. As Terry said about Barry having the straddle putt as his comfortable putt. That's a really good thing to have out here. Adam doesn't quite flip it enough, catches trees on the right-hand side, kicks right towards the next fairway. It'll be tough to get through those trees. There's so many on the right-hand side of the green.
And now this shot is even difficult in that you want it to kind of flip up and then just stay straight. Mm-hmm. And as the group said, yeah, exactly. It'll play that little flip up, probably something like an M3, beat up M3, I'm guessing.
Barry just middle, no problem. Another forehand from Double G. Is that maybe the Sonic? I don't know if he throws those forehand or not.
But on our forehand counter, knowing for anytime you see someone who just generally doesn't throw a lot of them, to see them throw a few of them already.
It says a lot about the course.
It does. That's exactly it. You've talked about scrambling and getting up and down and hitting lines.
You really have to have all the shots out here. Even the rollers, the tomahawks, the thumbers, like all of those will come into play at some point during the day.
Maybe even on the same hole.
Maybe. Definitely on the same hole. Ooh. That seemed like a mean one. Great putt.
That's from Adam. Yep, Adam to save his par.
Double G with the par as well. Get off this hole.
Yeah, he's looking pretty comfortable right now. The group seems to have some good chemistry. It seems like everything is running just fine, or should I say smoothly for them. It is a Friday afternoon at this point as everyone's out here competing. They'll play one round here at Rollin Ridge, and then the second round gets played at a Super Silver layout in Manitowoc, and Sunday also finishes in Manitowoc at the Super Silver course.
And it is super long. Just kidding. I love Silver Creek. Calvin. Very excitable. Everyone loves that par. And we move on to a 400-foot par 3. Another one that's very difficult to get to. 400 feet, that is not quite... I guess you couldn't get there in one shot. Maybe we'll see these guys do it. Lots of trees to contend with. Yeah,
and I know we talk about angle quite a bit, but that's exactly what you need here. Anytime you see a 2 here, it is absolutely a bonus.
Definitely.
Staying so clean for so long and then having an elevated basket, just lots of challenge.
We kind of joked during practice rounds that Rollin Ridge is all about throwing your tee shot, and no matter how good or bad it is, your second shot, you're going to have to be throwing a scramble shot. So the guys that are the best at making the best of their second shot, no matter what their lie is, are the guys that are going to pull ahead here.
Well, and that's maybe where some longevity in the game and just experience will certainly come into play. And how many tricks do you have in your bag?
Exactly.
And that is a very unconventional route. Just something I don't see on this particular hole.
Ever.
Double G really trying to get inventive.
Looks like everyone is really just getting magnetized over to the right. There must be something in the water over there. Oof, another forehand from Double G. He's taking a minute to reflect. I think Rollin Ridge does that to you pretty regularly.
We don't even really see that one. We just hear a few tree kicks, which it's so easy to do out here.
The music of Rollin Ridge also is, if you listen closely, you just hear many tree kicks with the occasional chain tingle, but mostly tree kicks from other fairways. This basket sits on the edge of a kind of a half bowl, and it's very steep on that inside edge of the bowl next to the basket. It gives you kind of a straight up approach or a straight up putt whenever you're on the inside of the bowl where he just landed, or if you're on the other side, it is a definite death putt.
Yeah, if you do make it, as Gary the catch cam is getting out of the way, if you do make it to that spot, that's pretty comfortable. But 5 or 10 feet past that, and your knees are knocking a little when you're when you're going for that putt.
You can see it turtle back down the hill. It's steeper than it looks on the camera.
Yeah, sometimes just finding your footing on that hill is the number one challenge. I've seen that, many times throughout the years.
If you haven't watched the 2018 Silver Cup, the men's round at Rollin Ridge, there is a pretty comedic helping hand given on this hole with Nate Perkins and Cale Leiviska on Cale's putt. Worth a watch.
Don't spoil it, man. Oh, sit down. Sit down.
Oh, no.
Oh, just when we thought it was going to flop down.
The bowl strikes again.
It does, and double G. I don't know if he gained any distance technically on that putt. It looks like he's maybe 1 foot closer to the basket with a very similar angle.
And sadly, with a great putting line as well. A little high, but right on line.
Let's see if he can make up for it here. He's just inside the circle.
There
Oh,
we
yeah.
go.
Wow, and to think he had to make that for a double bogey.
That was Adam leaning way forward, trying not to fall. So awkward. You can see his toes are the only thing holding on. Still bangs a putt. Saves the bogey. Get a little speed.
He must do rock climbing in his spare time, right? Right?
It's definitely steep. Calvin with the death putt, no problem. Saves his par. Cale with a par as well.
Blowing off the mini.
He blew one off on the last hole, too. You missed it. I saw it, though.
I just count on it. And again, I'm not trying to pick on Cale at all, because I know there's stuff there, and he doesn't want to put the mini in his pocket with a little dirt or debris on it. I fully understand it. It's just one of those little things you pick up that...
I wonder if he realizes that he's even doing it. I doubt it. I think it's part of the routine. You gotta have your
I'm
routine.
guessing.
He has a pre-shot routine, post-shot routine.
Well, kind of like Wysocki always waves to the crowd, whether there's an applause or not. You're just so used to it.
Yep.
Hole number 7, we're going to head downhill. Well, if you can get to the hill, 457 feet, and you need it kind of a flip-up backhand hyzer shot for a righty, but then you're not going to get a lot of skip because it gets either a little wet or a little damp down there. Again, it can be two'd. I think it takes a nearly miraculous shot.
It's miraculous. On the tee sign, actually, fun fact, it says, printed on the really nice tee signs, quote unquote, get lucky.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of holes. You do want to carry, one thing for sure, you do want to carry more forward before you go left. You do not want to saw one off early. It is not friendly over there. Calvin's not going to like that.
And you see the wooden structure on the right. That's, it could be another tee or whatever it is. Those are protective areas to block any shots that come in. I think that's actually probably the area of a shorter tee in this case. But there's a number of those structures, and you talked about it as we were kind of opening the round. They're really everywhere, and they're there to help safeguard players on other holes or other tees.
It's pretty cool. It gives you kind of a medieval feel as you play the course. This place definitely has a feeling to it. Adam saws one off early, goes left as well. Another area of the course that seems to be a vortex for discs, even though you don't want them to go there. Double G looking to bounce back after a rough hole. He gets way down there before it starts to go left, and that's exactly what you want.
I was just going to say, the good news or the good sound on this hole is a very late tree kick, and that's what you heard from Double G. It carried a long way before it eventually hit a tree.
Adam is going around the rough, and it works. He plays up the edge of a different fairway of the course. That's really tough to do. There's not a lot of holes over there. That is a much more impressive shot than you can tell on this camera footage.
That was a great shot, and
Calvin pulling out the tricks. What was that? A hammer tomahawk,
scummer,
yeah,
tomahawk roller.
yeah, Annie Sky
pancake.
forehand.
I didn't quite see the angle release, but it was one of those.
It was a Hail Mary. We'll just call it that.
Yeah, that's probably the best. And Schultz with a great approach, just looking so smooth. Yeah.
Cale does the same thing, no problem.
And as you can imagine, maybe a little bit about the terrain right now, this area is the lowest lying area of the course. So if you come here in spring, sometimes in summer, sometimes in fall, this is the area that can be very, very wet.
Apparently they had a wet few weeks leading up to the event. They were very happy that it did not rain at all during the event. But yeah, it was a little mucky down there. Adam to save his 3 with a really nice second shot. Boom.
That was a great recovery. And like you said, humble.
Calvin looking to tap in his 4 after the Hail Mary. Barry takes the easy 3. And Garrett and Cale will do the same.
Little chatter as we're waiting for ultimately Cale to move on over and take his par.
Moving on to hole 8. This is a par 4. It's one of my favorite holes on the course, even though there's nothing necessarily signature about it. You have to get around this Mando, and you want to go as straight as possible through all of these trees before the fairway takes a sharp turn to the left and the basket is out through this gap we can see. Straight is good here, straight and far, and I don't think we'll see anyone trying to get anywhere near where they can have a putt. There's a lot of trees. It's kind of a snaky fairway, and these guardian trees right off the tee pad are very intimidating.
Yeah, I feel like so much of the challenge is just getting off of this tee in a clean fashion.
Definitely.
I mean, there's a lot of trouble here. You'd need to get off the tee clean.
If you get pinned up early in those trees, it makes your second and third shots really tough. There's not necessarily a great line if you go off to the right-hand side, and there's a marsh on the left-hand side that if you get into there, you have to contend with having a little bit of a soggy lie.
I know in some years to the left has been designated out of bounds. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if they're doing that this year. It doesn't appear that they are.
It was casual this year. Oof. Not feeling it today.
That's kind of exactly what we were talking about. Is Double G laces one up there. If you hit something early, it's one thing that, of course, you have plenty of distance to cover yet, but you're now going to be in a very awkward position for Adam. We'll see if Calvin can stay clean.
Tries to work the hyzer line out right, catches the right side of a tree, and goes way right. Adam with a super technical forehand turnover that seems to put him in the middle.
Yeah, that was a great recovery shot. It doesn't even really matter, in my opinion, that he hit that tree so late. It was pretty much coming down anyway. And you see Calvin there kind of pinched up against a tree, trying not to whack his hand on a tree on the follow-through there.
Shortening the follow-through, but still making a great shot. Adam with his third shot. He's looking to try to get up there close. What a great forehand scramble. He might not be feeling the backhand, but the forehand scramble is looking excellent today.
Yeah, comes in at 468 as a par 4, and Adam looks like he's had a great recovery shot or two, and Schultz, middle, I think you keep saying.
Middle again. Cale's way down there as well. He has a straight approach to the green. That's a really great drive. That is a tough spot to get to from the tee pad.
And you see that the basket is outside of the wooded area, so you might contend with a swirling wind or something you're not used to because you've been in the woods for the last 4 or 5 holes. And for Adam to still walk away with a par was very impressive.
Very impressive. Kind of a tweener for the guys. Watching all of them tee off, I mean, I guess these are some of the best men at the tournament, but they all make this tee shot look kind of easy. These are easy threes. Cale doing what he does.
I'm sorry if I ruined all Cale coverage for you or anyone else from here on out.
That's all I can focus on now. Not the majestic mustache.
Little fist bump and some love between Double G and Schultz, and here we are, hole number 9, and
this hole. What a way to wrap up the back 9! Wow.
Or the front 9 even.
I mean the front 9. I don't even know where I am anymore with this drone footage.
Jeff Showers very carefully maneuvering the drone, and when you have to make so many turns and angles, that tells you just how difficult it is. You see the Rollin Ridge clubhouse just behind.
It's such a fun place to hang out post round. It's super awesome. You want to throw a turnover shot here that hyzers back at the end. You're more trying to go straight than you are bite off around the corner very much. The more aggressive you try to be, the more trouble you can get into. Rollin Ridge does that really well. But Barry throws a flex shot and he'll have a pretty middle. I'm going to go ahead and predict.
I think Double G's getting down to business. I think I see an untucked shirt now. I don't know if he's...
He's letting loose?
Yeah. You see a little bit of the breeze coming over Calvin's shoulders. Oh, and that looks so good out of his hand.
It did look good. A really unfortunate kick. He's going to have a tough scramble from the left side of the fairway. Adam giving it some height, which at this course is a scary risk to take because the higher you are, the farther you go when you hit trees. Wow, this is so from where Calvin is right now, it goes pretty much straight left. The fairway does. You do not want to go deep, but it looks like that might have worked to get him down there to have a look at an approach to the green.
Yeah, right now you're still just trying to put yourself in position. Calvin was. And Cale gets a little forward momentum. He thought he had the right angle on it. But if you don't make this bend, which is exactly what we're seeing these 3 players do, you're just going to be completely out of position. And Double G at least has a look at the fairway, and Barry is going to be in just prime position.
At this point, with the second shots that they're throwing, there's definitely fairways, quote unquote, but it's just a bunch of really thin lines. Barry is trying to hit one of the little gaps, but you're kind of just hoping you don't knock a tree here.
Oh, and after Barry throws an almost perfect tee shot, unfortunately he's going to give it right back to the course by finding that center tree.
Calvin just finding a tree on every shot. It's funny, after the round he said exactly that. Wow. Talk about finding a line.
And a little bit of a backstop to save him an extra 2 or 3 feet. Well, Barry loses his hat now.
Untucked shirts, no hats.
Things are getting wild.
This is what the Ridge can do. And he puts one up there. He'll have a putt for par.
For a birdie. This is actually as a par 5. And Adam with a little self-affirmation. I don't think he's old enough to know who Stuart Smalley is.
I don't think I am either.
Oh. Whatever.
I'm just kidding.
And Double G with a very Was that a dainty approach?
That was dainty.
I like it.
Calvin trying to be dainty too. It works out. Look at the touch.
Rollin Ridge, of course, a private course listed as one of the best courses in the world. So if you ever want to stop by in Wisconsin, say hi as you drive past me in the Milwaukee area and head on up to Rollin Ridge. This is about an hour and a half north of Milwaukee.
Uncharacteristic miss from Cale. I know he was having a little beef with his putt this weekend. Spin putts were not quite feeling online.
And it's interesting to note that he's got the spin putt working in general. He has not been known as a spin putter. He's definitely been more of a pitch putter throughout the years.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on with the switch.
It seems like this, he did miss that one, but it does seem like it's been working otherwise. So, Madison, I want to thank you. I hope you'll join me in the back nine. I think there's more trees, probably some birdies.
Probably more Cale blowing off his disc.
I guarantee you there will be. We'll see you in the back nine, guys.